Okay, now continuing our conversation as it pertains to the motion, the animation motion. I improved the part where it kind of jumps. I can tweak that out a little bit more. There's more I can do with that. But now I'm in the long forward now. All right. Now here's the interesting thing. In a vast environment like this, okay, where we have a lot of simulated depth. All right, we've got a lot of depth out here. Okay. Your speed, your animation speed through this environment kind of enhances the feeling of vastness. If you go really, really fast through an environment like this, it just looks like it's maybe miniature because you can pass over it real quick. Let me give you an example. Let's just say I come along like that. You see? Zip. You see how it doesn't feel as big? Zip. Now, if I do something like this and I'm just kind of really crawling, now that feels big. It feels like it's taking a long time for your airplane or whatever you are, Superman maybe, to fly through this area. Now, the key is that you don't want it to be too fast, you don't want it to be too slow. So I have here an opportunity to adjust the speed of the animation, the motion, using, actually it's not too bad, actually. It's pretty good where it is. But I'm going to put another key point right here so that I can demonstrate to you how we can adjust that forward motion speed. I'm just demonstrating. So I'm going to put another key point right there. Let's get it to where we can see everything. So this is at 100% speed. All right, this is the one that we were doing earlier. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this speed. Now I've made it much faster. So if I play this back, you see how we're zipping through now? Because I've increased the speed of the timeline between here and here to 259% of its 100% native speed. All right. So if I wanted to just slow it down a bit, let's say 90%. Let's make the timeline so we can see more of it. Now here we go. So we're going to have 90% of the original 100% speed. Not too bad. Not too bad. Here's the point. When you're moving through a simulated large expanse like this, you want to find a balance between the motion is too slow and it becomes boring, and too fast where it becomes unrealistic. It's just really as simple as that. All right. So I'm going to leave it at 90%. I think that was a pretty good speed. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's enough time where the viewer can kind of inspect the scene and get a sense for depth. All the other objects are coming up on you, boom. Oh, and actually, no, that was interesting. I put the speed down to 90, and it actually improved where I went into the roll. Let's watch that again. I'm going to just do halfway through the forward. All right. So here we're coming up on the roll. Ooh, that segued pretty good. A little bit of a stall, which I can deal with. I can deal with that. So I'll tell you what. Excuse me. I'll tell you what. I think what we've got here is an improvement on the speed. Now, of course, I can, to my heart's content, I can tweak this out. All right, and I can get this just where I want it. I think that the barrel roll is a little bit slow. Well, actually, no, that's probably realistic. All right, but I could repeat the whole process. I could put another key point here, right here, and I can adjust this. And so I can tweak this out to where my entire animation has a speed or varies in the speed according to what I choose for my final presentation. All right, so we're doing the right hand banking turn. All right, we had that little sudden blip there. I softened that. I could work on that some more. Here's my big forward speed, which is, I think, fast enough to be interesting, but not too slow to be boring. Now we come on up on our roll. I could do a little bit something right there in the transition between the forward and the roll. Okay, and of course you know that we don't have all of our frames in there yet, but we can handle that. That's easy. All right, so what I have here is I have an improvement. It's not the final, but you really we don't really need to get this thing tweaked out so perfect for purposes of the tutorial. So I think I'm going to leave it at that so that we can move on. All right? There are ways that you can improve this and tweak it out. All right, but for purposes of tutorial, we don't need to get this thing perfect. All right, so I'm going to right mouse click. I'm going to turn off the retime curve. Right mouse click, turn off the retime controls. And I have my timeline. Now I got some color correction that I did there, not much. You want to get it close in Mandelbulb3D application. I did sharpening, not much. I did some speed modifications. I can tweak it out even more. Okay, so now I'm pretty close to having my animation in pretty good shape. Now there's a couple things I need to do yet. I want to put titling on this. I want to have a title. I want to get a copyright statement in there. You know, an author title. We have some other keyframes. Subframes that are being rendered. We need to pull those in. And then I want to have some sort of a closing title, all right, to this presentation. Then I'm going to get to a point where I can actually render this out to a final animation that I can upload to YouTube or whatever I choose to do with it, okay? All right, so I'll tell you what, let's end this session right here. And in the next session, I'm going to throw some titling in there just to kind of give you a sense of how to do it. It's extremely easy. So we'll throw some titling in there. We'll play with that a little bit. And then we do need to go get our other keyframes and bring them in. And I need to show you how to have the attributes that we did on these keyframes applied to the ones that we bring in. Okay? All right. I'll see you in the next session. We'll do some titling. I'll see you there.